And we're back with Chapter 3 of my book, Liberate, Your Journey to Lasting Financial Independence. And Chapter 3 is Personal Development Sequence. So we're going to go ahead and break this chapter up into a few segments, but we'll go ahead and get started. I really like this quote here. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit, by Will Durant. So first we're going to talk about good principles and values. So only you can choose to change. I will present the information, but only you can decide to act on it. You have agency. It will be your decision. You are responsible for the consequences of your actions. Things that come easy have little value. Quick fixes and band-aids are not the solution to lasting financial independence. Remember, for the highest probability of FI success, the changes must come from within yourself. Okay? Your principles dictate the decisions you make. Much like an organization's standard operating procedures, principles are a set of rules and conventions that provide a reliable system for navigating various situations that you reference when faced with a choice. Good principles, to name a few, include honesty, fairness, integrity, compassion, respect, courage, responsibility, justice, perseverance, and loyalty. And these traits provide a reliable compass for making sound decisions and help you live a stable, consistent life. You are more confident in your actions and choices when you adhere to these ethical guidelines. After all, you know what the outcomes will be. They're predictable. For example, you know that when you craft a reputation for respecting others, people respect you in return. But if you are disrespectful in your interactions with others, they will view you negatively. These principles, which are reliable, universal, and timeless, shape your life choices, often without you realizing it. When external influences, unique challenges, and outside pressures pop up, the person who knows how to seek guidance from their principles is better equipped to make the best decisions. Principles offer a lens through which you can view your priorities with clarity and direction, helping you align your actions with your vision and mission, we talked about in the previous chapter. Values, which are unique to each person, represent what you value most. Your values motivate your behaviors. One way to look at it is to think of values as the intangible ideals you cherish and treasure. For example, values are like a destination on a map, a place you want to be. The direction that tells you how to get there are your principles. Here, you can clearly see the interconnectedness between values and principles. You craft a harmonious and purpose-driven life by aligning your actions, guided by your good principles, with your aspirations defined by your values. You may have values in the form of goals and aspirations, but you will struggle to reach them without the help of your good principles. Not all principles, however, have your best interest at heart. They don't all lead to positive outcomes. Just as some principles promote well-being, fulfillment, and happiness, there are others that can hold you back, impede your progress, and weaken your quality of life. All right, so now that you understand how important principles are and how they're used to guide your decisions, we want to understand, okay, there are different types of principles, right? Good and bad. So in this section right here, we'll discuss that. So distinguishing between good and bad principles. Both good and bad principles exist. Therefore, it is crucial to distinguish between the two and consciously choose to adopt good principles, especially those that lead to happiness. Embracing good principles aligns your actions with your values, promoting personal growth and fulfillment. Conversely, adhering to bad principles can create obstacles and lead to dissatisfaction. To help you better understand the difference, here is a selective list of good principles that lead to happiness along with their corresponding negative counterparts. For a fulfilling life, we want to strive to embrace the good principles and avoid the bad ones. So now we can see here a list of good principles here on the left-hand side and bad principles that we want to avoid that lead to unhappiness on the right-hand side. We have in the good principles, we have optimism, having a hopeful attitude, versus the bad principle, or would be pessimism, having a negative outlook on life. Next, we have gratitude, appreciating your blessings, versus ingratitude, showing dissatisfaction with your blessings. And then altruism, showing selfless concern for others, versus selfishness, being concerned only for yourself. Truthfulness, displaying honesty and integrity, versus dishonesty, being untruthful and deceitful. Healthy relationships, maintaining a nurturing network, versus toxic relationships, being involved in disrespect, abuse, and power struggles. Then we have mindfulness, being present and enjoying the moment, versus mindlessness, acting distracted and inattentive. Purpose, finding fulfillment and meaning, versus aimlessness, lacking goals and directions. Self-care, treating yourself kindly, versus self-neglect, ignoring your wellness or emotions. Or your emotional needs. Resilience, gaining confidence by overcoming obstacles, versus fearfulness, avoiding obstacles and challenges. And then personal growth, seeking opportunities for personal improvement, versus stagnation, ignoring growth opportunities. Okay, obviously this is a partial list of both good and bad principles that you can adopt into your life. There are others, but this gives you kind of an idea of what we're talking about here. So being cognizant of these principles, both good and bad, is the first step toward making the conscious choice to be happy. The principles you adopt, after all, play an important role in shaping your character and determining your overall happiness. Adopting good principles not only directs you toward your desired destinations or values, but also makes sure that you enjoy the journey, right? Don't we all want the trek through life to be fulfilling and enriching? Don't you want a life filled with physical and mental well-being, personal growth, and healthy relationships? And I'm sure you do. But how can you gauge where you stand in practicing these principles right now? So right here we have the principle continuum. So a straight line represents the continuum between positive and negative principles. On the far left end, imagine embracing all bad principles over here on this diagram. On the far right end, you embrace all good principles over here. Each end of the continuum represents the extremes, okay? But in general, most of us live somewhere between these two endpoints, and I'm sure for most of us, it's closer to the right side, right? While none of us are perfect, we move closer to the right side of the continuum over here by acknowledging our mistakes, making amends, and striving to do good. Now, the closer we live toward the right side of the line, right over here, right, embracing as many good principles as possible, the happier we will be. This profound yet simple truth illustrates the cause and effect nature of principles. Bad people do not attract good outcomes. It just doesn't work that way. Evil begets evil. Good, on the other hand, leads to good outcomes. When you radiate goodness into the world, that goodness comes back to you with compound interest. If you don't believe that, try it for yourself. Wholeheartedly adopt good principles and values into your life and note how you feel afterward. I'm confident that you'll notice a significant improvement in your happiness and overall well-being. Okay, so this is something that a lot of times we don't think about this, right? When we're talking about the different principles and what we believe in and what we use to make our decisions. And so this gives you time to reflect and really understand and think about, the principles that you believe in. And so this is a good opportunity to do that while you're reading the book, or just pausing and just and thinking about it and taking some notes and writing down some of your ideas right now. Okay, so try as you might be to live on the right side of the continuum. However, no one is perfect. Rather than trying to convince yourself that you are further along the line than you really are, you should focus on acknowledging your shortcomings and rededicate your efforts to living your best life. This continuum is a mental reminder of where you are now, where you hope to be, and most importantly, that you have the ability to move yourself closer to the good principles that will bring you fulfillment and happiness. Remember, every step you take toward the right side of the line brings you closer to the life you aspire to lead. And so, the key takeaway before I stop this segment is just that you are able to change. If you're not happy with where you are in life, you can better your situation. All right. So we'll go ahead and end right there, and then we'll pick up with good habits in our next video.